We have, as next, the cost experiments, a successful outcome on the program, which probably is Julia and Francesca. It's a little bit more informal part here. It's the discussion of the joint experiments that have been carried out with cost, that are being carried out with cost, and some ideas of the next steps and ideas. So I'm gonna hand over to Julia and then Francesca.
Initiate a lot of experiments from the beginning of the project, and it's not only we two.
Shy guy.
So if you have the microphone already in my hands, then I will start, say a few words about experiment which I organized, then I pass microphone to other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, we made a lot of experiments, and some of them are almost on the final stage, some of them in the middle stage, and maybe some of them just in the early stage. So we'll see. But our experiment which I organized was on PCD, TBT, stability, and Laura. Maybe also you need to be here because on Tuesday, Laura made a very nice presentation. It was a summary of that experiment. It was, of course, very hard work. For Laura, thank you, but also for everybody. Because to initiate the experiment was not so difficult. So we had a plan, so we invite people, and then we generate a lot of data. So it was an enormous amount of data. No, and then I did not know what to do with this data, so I stayed like half a year, at least half a year with this data, and look at it, what shall I do with this? And then I found very nice girl who really was volunteer. Who really was volunteered to help and look what we have from this data. It was a lot of work. Thank you, Laura. And then at final stage, we decided to publish these results. But also for publishing, we need a lot of writing, and we need a lot of editing. And then, of course, we all have a lot of work, and we're all busy. And then also, me and Laura ask other people, okay, we now have a data, but what to do with this data? Now we need to put it in a text. And then we also ask people in one of these meetings. Then I would like also to thank Anna, who also helped us with the writing. So, no, but still it's very, very helpful. Martin and Vida. So, yes. So your contribution is also very big. So thank you a lot. And many, many other people, because when the final version was ready, so all these people edit and read it, and so thanks everybody. And then at the end, it was a bit of pressure, but it was just, no, it was already after the Christmas, but we prepared before the Christmas, and just after the Christmas, but before New Year celebration, I made this submission, and I did not expect that. Then I ran into some problem with the system, because system asks that I need to put the name of each author and affiliation. So it was like my family wait me to celebrate, and I put all these authors. But then when I come to number 25, system says, so no more possibilities to add other authors, but we were more than 25. So I mailed to editor what to do, and he said, just submit it like this. And later on, the editor asked me to provide full list with full authors, so nobody lost. So, and the paper is still under review, so I hope next weeks will give us results. But thank you. Then we will make second round. Who want to be? Yeah, and thank you all. Yeah.
You not first, no?
Okay, so first me. So I got a presentation. Okay, so we shared this, but we don't know how, and there is no presentation. It's here. So Yeah, just a few slides, don't be scared. So we were starting this big experiment on perovskite, comparing mesoporous and planar, and planar eventually inverted architecture, and this was the status when we met last time. So the planar inverted, they are still in mind of God, because we didn't get any planar inverted architecture, but this, I mean, maybe we will get in the next future. And what we got, we have one paper in preparation that is, so we got some zombie effect as well with these solar cells. So what we decided to do is to compare aging condition and try to wrap up what was coming out from that. And so now we got almost all the results there, and we are preparing a paper on that. And this on the mesoporous one. On the planar one, actually, there is already one paper, actually even more than one, because this was starting a big collaboration. And for this paper, I really have to thank Eugene, that was doing really a great job in pushing this paper a lot to journals and to setting up this new figure of merit that maybe we shall evaluate also to understand which is the real power that we have out of perovskite. But since we are, let's say, happy to do an experiment together, what me and Sjord wanted to propose for the next non-cost experiment, but whatever we want to call it, so since we launch here, I guess it's still cost experiment, I don't know, is another experiment. Because, there is going to be ISO's meeting in guess September, October, China. We don't remember the dates, but we will let you know. And so the idea is to try to arrive there with a proposal for new ISOs protocols for perovskite measurement. So we were discussing during ISOS this and also during our previous meeting, and with Sjord, I mean, there is always some delay in setting up things, but still we can do it. And what we would like to do is to see if we need to modify a bit these protocols, because when we measure the device, we observe that it's really measurement and device dependent. So what we would like to do is to do something similar to what has been done for OPV and to try to propose protocols for perovskite, because this could help labs to compare results. And so for those who are not familiar, the D experiment are the aging done in dark, the L are the one done in underlighting the devices, and then we see also the outdoor that are in the next slide. So the dark, maybe we don't have to change much, because I mean, you age the sample, just wait, and I mean, we guess they are already okay once the measurement conditions are set up. I mean, delay time in between measurements, so on and so forth. What we feel is very difficult, I mean, is to understand how the aging under light condition is affected. And so, I mean, here we are listing some things, but I mean, just to say, like, the preconditioning, when to measure, when you have hysteresis, or how do you take into account of the recovery. So we saw that the device recovered, but when you do aging under light, they are just always under light, so no recovery there. And so when, for example, you do maximum power peak tracking, which parameter for VOC and JC shall we consider? So the idea is to do an experiment when some labs will run the standard ISOs protocol, and other labs will change some parameters of the ISOs protocols, so that we can compare how the measure change on that. So what we want to do, we were thinking about, is that we would like to collect from you your protocol of measurement. And then who wants, of course, take part to this experiment, even in suggesting protocol and then in measuring and doing devices, and then have a discussion on how to do this, because for sure we have to do, so also taking into account what has been done already in literature, but for sure we want to do ISO standard, and then we want to change something. So the discussion is going to be on what to change. The same will be done for 0102. In this case, outdoor measurement. The problem here, as I told you, is the recovery. So Eugene was already proposing a way to evaluate this thing. So we got already some hints on that, but we have to think about how to standardize this, which type of measure we can do on that. And at the final, we will again look for people producing samples. So who wants to produce sample can email to me or Sjord or together. Actually, it would be better. And then, of course, we look also for characterization lab. So the way it's going to be as the previous time. We collect people and we ask your availability also in terms of amount of sample you can send and so on and so forth. This time we try to stick again to the mesoporous and planar, but the last experiment we were changing many parameters. Maybe we stick to only one architecture because otherwise it's going to be too complex. So if there is anybody who wants to provide also the PIN, quit stabilized, we will be happy to test because I mean it's still somewhere there. And because it could be very, very good to have a paper which is really interlaboratory study with different architectures. And I guess, so I hope that all the people that were already telling me, yes, we want to join the next experiment will join, and that we will have other information out of that. With this, I finish. And I give the word to you.
Give me for one second. I just forgot to mention two more names who heavily contribute to the writing, Beatrice and Palvi. Yeah, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I want to mention it, yeah.
Thank you. Any questions to her?
No.
No. Everything's clear.
Yeah, to myself, yes.
Okay, then it's on me. So the experiment I was suggesting and leading here in the very big collaboration was basically the first and also seems to be the last, kind of, except for this one, of course. So it took us really a long time to get everything settled. Here we can really speak about big data. I don't have slides here, but trust me, we have a few hundred slides, isn't it? Yes. So you invested a hell amount of time into really looking a little bit too deep into the data that we got. So I must say the conduction of the experiment was working out very fine. Besides that, my group was really moving from one city to the other and from university to the other, which also brought about a few complications later on. Anyhow, so it was a big effort. I would like, of course, to thank also all the contributors. In this case, at the end, we were trying to find some conclusion on this, and this took the longest time. And it was really not simple. It took me many sessions in the late night in some bars, me and my computer, to try to find something. And at the end, I must say, it was possible to see some light in the end of the tunnel, and we are now very close to the publication. So we more or less set up the paper, and we got, I think, all the feedbacks from the co-authors in the meantime. So one last big session, then we are going to do the last polishing, and then it will be submitted. So the difficulties we have noticed here, of course, were in fact insufficient stability. Yeah? But okay, even by that we could learn a lot. Yeah, that's true. So what else should I add? Thanks a lot for taking part in this. I have to add, we learned really a lot on what could be done also in future experiments based on that experience. So the the manuscript is, I think, 40 pages long, and the supplementary is 50 pages. So it's, of course, yeah, it's a little bit of data. Okay, big data. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Okay, I think what I would like to mention here is that if you want to make a successful experiment, it really relies on, you know, some people that want to spend a lot of time, and that's maybe a strength of this community, that actually people are willing to do so. But this is also, I guess, a risk, and maybe that's also something to, you know, take as a take-home message from, you know, what you can do in such a cost action. It's in an experiment that, you know, we also intended to do was comparing all the different ISOS protocols on one single device that should perform, let's say, identical on a large number. So we needed between, well, close to 200 samples that are more or less identical. So we really needed a commercial supplier for this. And this was really complicated. First, they didn't want to do it for free, and second, they had to adjust their process, and they didn't want to do that either. So that was extremely difficult to get, and of course, maybe we shouldn't have tried. In the end, we found a company that could do it, but well, turned out to be still rather complicated, so it didn't work out. But even if we would have done it, we would have a lot of data, and again, we would run into the problem of finding people that want to do it in a kind of spare time, or, you know, it's not so easy to get it financed. So this is maybe something also that should be mentioned, that it's really great if the community can take care of this, but it's not something that's obvious, I think.
Okay. Are there any questions for those four that are standing there in terms of experiments that can or should be added to the list, or any support? You've been asking for volunteers. If you would like to sort that privately, you have their email addresses, so you can send their support and their comments to them. I think we're coming close to an end. Monica, if you want to come up. But before I pass the microphone over, I would like to thank everyone who came to this conference, everyone who helped out in the one or the other form with making this StableNextSol cost action so successful. What I didn't mention last night and should have mentioned is that this cost action is often used as example of the cost organizations, how a cost action should be run. How inclusive, how many members, how it should grow, how it should interact. And
It's a lot of improvisation here.
Yes.
So after we speak about the new project.
Yes, exactly. So I'm just wrapping this up. But everyone knows that this project is coming to an end. 19th of March to be exact, less than 1 month ago. We will have to write a final report by April, but I think that's not the main thing that is happening by April. And now, Francesca, that's your cue. Yes. Because there are plans of continuing this, and I think we should spend some time brainstorming, or at least putting it out for suggestions and ideas, such that as long as we have everyone in one room.
Yes. So what? So I mean, this is just like night thinking, and I'm thinking after yesterday. So the proposal we are discussing is just to let's say do a sort of an update of what you are doing until now. So to do like integration of energy harvesting and storage, but energy harvesting. I mean. We do solar, but we got suggestion to also widen a bit the topic, because this, in our opinion, and also, I mean, we were speaking today with the, I shall not say, but she said that, so the cost representative, Monica, she told us that if we have a wide project, we get good, good possibility to pass. So this was one of the idea that I got going around. So we have possible titles here. I'm asking to vote the people. First one, it was the new devices for energy generation and storage technologies. Next, generation devices for energy and storage technologies. Integration. This maybe can be one of the most the nicest. Photovoltaic energy generation and storage technology for innovative application. And maybe the last one could be the next title, which is integration of energy generation and storage technology for innovative application. So the idea is here to put some buzzword, but this is really draft of yesterday night, so think about what we were drinking. So, and I just put there some images, and so, but the idea is to try to enlarge the community, because in our community we have people who do device, people who do a lot of different type of measurement, people who do materials. So this could be a possibility to involve all of us and even include more of us. So, and I guess this could be a possibility, and we didn't even think about work packages, and of course it's proposal as well, and we were thinking about leaving the technological monitoring, and then some part on the devices, characterization and modeling, of course, because there are a lot of people involved there, application at some point. Stability test and standard, because we want to maintain the part which is related to this project that cannot be directly in the title, let's say, because we cannot propose the same project. And then also life cycle assessment and economic payback, because we saw that there are some people who are already doing these things here. And since from the European community, it seems that we have to show that we do something that is at some point will go on the market. Maybe it could be interesting to have this part. Of course, this is still as I told you, result of yesterday night, but the idea is something like that. So what me and actually Julia, she is going to be the vice chair of this call, so she's going to help in this process actually. Yeah, of course, I already started. So what we are going to do now is actually, and we already collected many, let's say, wills from people to help. So I would like to thank all the people who already told me that they want to help. But if any of you has an idea to share or things that he thinks that, you think that is important to know for us, please write to me an email. My email is francesca.brunetti, I forgot to put @uniroma2.it. And then please feel free to contact me, because the process is going to be quite fast since 20th of April is closed, but we still have time to arrange well things. So please feel free to contact me, or even Julia that will be together with me. So that's it, and let's cross finger. Because we will see again under a cost umbrella. We see. Okay, that's it. I leave the word to Monica. Yeah, I forgot the word package too.
It's a secret word package.
That's at the beginning.